first presentation, we've got 3 presentations. They're all going to go for about 15 to 20 minutes. The first presentation we have is titled Village Technology. So please.
Okay, so this one is vital village technology. I'm Michael, Miguel, desculpa la colia tepum. So the rest will be in English. I am from, as you may have noticed on the t-shirt, I'm from the ATA, Alternative Technology Association. The reason that I'm up here, one more thing, someone's just reminded me, some people in Timor, especially the little children, they call me my like boss. So, the reason I'm up here, along with Simao Barreto, who is the director of CNEFP, which is the equivalent of a TAFE school in Delhi, a trade training organisation, is because we've had a long and successful association with CNEFP, with Simao, and his teachers, running train-the-trainer courses specifically in PV. So in this presentation we'll be talking about 2 technologies mainly, PV and water, because they're both appropriate technologies at the village level. Now to give you just a really quick brief context, the slides will explain very briefly about the size of the problem, the size of the program that's required to facilitate that technology out to the districts, and the success that CNEFP has had with the government of Timor-Leste in training up a lot of the people for the PNDS. Yeah, overall, okay, so CNEFP has been chosen as one of the key training organisations to train up the local people in the communities for these technologies with the government. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Simao to run the main part of the presentation, and every so often I'll kick in and heckle from the stage. So if everyone's happy with that, we'll continue. So I'll present to you Simao Barreto.
Thank you, Michael. Distinguished delegate, allow me to appreciate my thanks, especially to Donna from ATI, who organised my trip to come to Melbourne and part of this presentation.
Bem-vindo. Bem-vindo. Welcome.
Oh yeah, bem-vindo. Thank you. I was a little bit nervous before coming to this state, but then Richard organized everybody to split, so I little bit calm down so to prevent this side. As in the pictures, one of the chapel in a rural area, if you couldn't see, 2 panels on the roof is distance photograph. So it's there. We have a team that's been trained as trainers, especially in energy alternative, focusing solar panel. Even now, in a level of small-scale systems, but we have big ambitions that one day we can adapt to the recent global technologies. We program with different projects sponsored by governments, Timor-Leste and other governments in Australia, non-government organizations, individuals, community groups. They are coming, have discussion with us and look at what's the key point to make community growth, individual, especially young guys, feel confidence and be part of any activities around them, especially a lot of key point of priorities program that's run by governments and other agencies in East Timor. And type of the team that we build up in our institute is go out there, working with the community groups. If the projects that can able to encourage those beneficiaries be part of the project's installation or development, we are very close to these ideas. For example, here, one of the projects that we co-project with ATI and Mercy Corps in Delhi, they offer small system for community facilities. So chapel, clinic, and also youth centers. The pictures represent of communities facilities, and others systems is go straight to the individual household. So a small system just enough for lighting, and it gives lots of improvements and confidence to the family, especially believe that the kids come back home, bring this homework, they can do a little bit writing and reading the task that teachers give to do during the day, and then they can feel confident in the morning to go to join the others college in school. I will continue with the slides.
So we might have applied technology. We have recent technology here.
I think while research sort out, I will tell my first day arrived 2 days ago. In fact, yesterday morning I went to a kiosk. It's about 20 slides on the wall, and I was busy looking around the slides. But this one here, oh, this we got.
Someone else is driving it. No, that's not working.
Needs a new battery.
No, it seems to be working. Something else going on. This is a good example, actually, of some of the problems we have with technology everywhere. So not just in Timor, but here. One of the problems we're having now is that nobody knows the technology. Right? So what they've done is they've put all this information in place. They've presented us as users with the clicker, and they said, off you go. No training, no support. Well, there is support for the heavy difficulties, so that's not fair. But we have no idea how the technology works. Now, imagine that happens in Timor. We go out, we put a solar power system in. We put the system in, works wonderfully, all our technicians go in there, do all the job. See you later, guys. Photos, back in the car, back to Australia. Then we have users who don't know what they're doing, who haven't been trained, and the system doesn't work properly. And there's no one to call. So we have a situation now where people have become used to the technology because it worked this morning, and now it doesn't work. So we're worse off now than we were before. And if you're lucky, which we have been lucky with the ATA and with CNEFP in the past, we've had local people who are a little bit entrepreneurial, who get in there and play with it and figure out how it works. They're usually male, they're usually 12 years old. And there are two of those boys, a few years ago, who were the electricians at one of the local orphanages. And it was as scary as hell. For us, not for them, they were fine. And the madre and the sister who ran the organisation, she had total confidence in them. They know what to do. They haven't killed anybody. It's not a problem. But again, this highlights an issue with technology and what you have to do with appropriate technology in villages. It's not enough to go in and put technology in. Anybody can do that. What you need is you need education and training behind that technology. You need support. You need an infrastructure that can help the people maintain that technology. Some of the NGOs have developed a strategy where they don't put in high-tech technology. They put in low-tech technology, something like a water pump. We can put in, and we have done in the past, put in water pumps that pump PV, that use PV to pump water up, and they work brilliantly until they don't. And then, because they work so reliably for so long, nobody knows how to repair them. There's a very good case to say, put in a hand pump that breaks through every 3 months, because the local people, it's simple technology, they understand it, they have access to a welder sometimes, or they have access to the tools they need to repair it, and because it breaks or needs maintenance often enough, they maintain the skills that they need to repair it. So when it breaks in 3 months' time, they fix it. When it breaks in another 3 months' time, they spend 10 minutes and they fix it. And the technology works. But even that requires training. And what we've done in our partnership with CNEFP over the last few years is to provide that resource which allows local Timorese to train Timorese people. So we've actually trained the trainers, and then CNEFP has done work not just with us but with other partners to actually provide that training institute. Now, Senor Simao can tell you very briefly a quick history of CNEFP. It's been operating for about 7 years now, and it's, I think, the premier trade training organisation in Timor. And the government must think so too, because they're sending lots of their students there. So I'll hand back to Senor Simao, and we'll see how we go with the rest of this technology. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, as we see now in the next slides, just a briefly number of statistics about population access to solar panel or light and clean water. This well-backed data. I think the recent statistic I think available on the website. And the next slide I would like to tell about a little bit egoist to present my organization, but this is good. I'm big ambitious to make sure that my self-confidence and the Timorese youth is confident out there. So this is the buildings, schools, with a 12 years establishment, around 2,646 certified graduates, and part of the numbers is the 160 PNDS sub-district technicians. This is last year training. And we can see in the slides all of the buildings and the care of the lighting system with solar panels, street solar panel is built by the students. So by the process of the training, we're able to build the institute, the campus. Area of intervention that institutes offer for training in Timor is focused in civil constructions, covering 7 units: masonry, plumbing, carpentry, electrical, welding, and PV systems. That we will more likely in fundraising course with communities. And the next hospitality training, we have dining place to serve every day 200 meals for students and staff. We also running small part of permaculture subjects and maritime and port management, focus in safety and management in transportation business. Since 2008, we also involve training that's out of campus. So we deliver training that involve directly with the community groups in the project level. And those when we have a lot of state of preparation and development in the institute itself. Good support come from different institutions. For solar panel, we have long time relation with ATA. The first focus in staff qualification, and then we look at curriculum design that appropriate for Timor, the system that can be used in villages. And then also we deliberate training in the community level with project in water and sanitation. We cover 13 districts, mostly sub-districts, but hardly small percentage of villages until to date. This is some pictures that training in the communities. So we have staff traveling out there and assembling the systems, and then consultation with the local communities, and passing some of very principal engineering about technology, how they operate, how do they take care of, how they do maintenance of the systems. And overall of the training, we cover the technical part, but later on we discovered that the benefit is not just about technical side that the communities achieve, but the other hand, they feel something else behind it, the technical side, the ownership. They feel that the system they give to them is belong to them, and they are using it as maximum as benefit as they can get from the system. And I think this is the value of the passing knowledge or experience to the others. This training of trainers with the community groups, we are working very closely with after up to date with the solar panel, ongoing. We hope this can last longer forever. You can see in the different pictures, this is the missions, the teams go out there with the systems, with the training program, and sometimes the villages is very remote. It takes 2-3 hours to reach to the household. And as a statistic in the second slide, so that right now only 39% of population access to light, to power. And with the recent 2 mine power stations, the lines cover around the islands. We believe that in the next 5-10 years we'll cover about 80% of populations, but still remain about 20% of population that's uncovered by the mine line electrical. So it's just about 50,000 households, that's the we estimate. So we still need this viable technology to be offered for those group of communities. You can see here a small system of PV. Only have 3 lights, small contactor for charge the phone. But sometimes some villages we don't introduce proper direct good information. They have good creativities, pull more other cable to their kitchen or toilets outside the house, and then the whole system just collapse. Yeah. But right now we stabilize our team that's doing mobile training services. We have regular visits to mostly 13 districts. To hopefully we can give assistance that's enough to solve some of problems that maybe will occur in the systems. Here, we can see here small story before those kids really need those lights, so they can have the support from the parents when they go back home, and the next day they will be happy to gather together to get into the classroom. So what we are reminding the big task to do in the next few years is ensure that our team is confident, regular, with a certain quality service, and very with a good responsive to some of the environmental requirements for the community or any organizations. Now have a few slides that are coming through about clean water in the villages. So since 2008, the boat program in community levels, we already registered and have a direct contact training with 1,105 participants. It's around 332 women. We have a long relation with program with outside in clean water in SAS, and now the program also extends to PNDS program and other program. We closely with Oxfam as well. With the clean water, but we care of the training, so not just the system is operated and people just benefit from what's the results of the project, but we do the other aspect of education side for the systems. This is a simple building the water tanks, building the basic sanitations, have a different options. We can using local materials and combine with the industrial products to build sanitations. And to run the water from a distance close to the household. And we sometimes have some support that able to left some group of tools to the community so they can use this tool to do the regular maintenance or basic repairing for the systems. I think this is the last slide. So how we approach our spirit of training into the practical. So we do the survey net discussing with different organizations, and we involve a lot of specialists in the area. and then if resources enough, curriculum, tools and equipment is enough, then we'll conduct the training, and then if there is coming with the set of the systems, then we, together with the community that received the training, install the systems. And then the next steps that we encourage the community to do maintenance. We take part of monitoring, auditing the systems, and again, recipients is there. So that will make the technology viable in any villages in East Timor.
Thanks, Mary. One minute, then we'll wrap up, because I know we're running a little bit late. The reason we both got up here is because we both have a very strong interest in training and development, and over the years ATA has learned the hard way that you do need to do training, and even though we thought we were doing adequate training in the beginning, we realised we weren't. And it's only with the help of our friends at CNEFP and some other organisations that we've been able to put in place now a system and a program that will allow us to make sure that Timor can develop and build a reliable and viable PV and solar power industry, and the other industries as well, because the lessons that we've learned from the PV we can apply to other things. The lessons the guys have learned from the water treatment stuff they've been applying to the PV and teaching us some things, and that's the other part of this important relationship, is that it's a two-way street. So to that end, we've signed an MOU with CNEFP, and CNEFP is now ATA's eyes and ears, hands and feet on the ground in Timor when we're not there, or even when we are there. So our relationship has changed dramatically in the last 12 months from being a mentor to being an assistant. So now the ATA assists CNEFP in reaching their objectives of training up trade qualified people in Timor-Leste. Whereas before we were the mentors, it's the old joke, we were the master, now we're the apprentice. So these guys are now running that whole program for us and with us. And it's really important to remember that this is all appropriate technology. So we do things out in the districts which we wouldn't necessarily do in a big community. We wouldn't necessarily do in a city. And it's all appropriate, and these guys can actually do that for us and do that with us and with any other NGO, for example. And so what I do is I encourage you to go out and have a look at the ATA stand outside to get some more information. We've got all the information out there, phone numbers, brochures and everything else. And at the end of the day, even though we're talking about appropriate technology, there's no point having appropriate technology unless it positively impacts people's lives in a meaningful and long-term way. Don't go in and try to do something that's going to last 6 months and then break. I've seen photos of solar panels being used as bench tops in Africa because people didn't know what they were. You don't want that to happen. So make sure that if you're going to use appropriate technology, make sure it's appropriate long-term, not just short-term. Because what it means is, it means that there's a child there that can actually read at night time and study. That's the difference it makes. It means that there's a mother who can now cook in the evenings after a day's chores, but she doesn't have to stop and cook during the day, the meals for the family. She can do it at night time. It means that the parents can do some work in the evening, making some small item, making some woodwork, making some baskets, anything to improve their income. It means that they don't have chronic lung problems because they're breathing in kerosene smoke. It means that they've actually got a couple of extra dollars in their pocket because we've shown that even paying $2 a month for a maintenance program for PV is cheaper than buying kerosene or candles. So always remember, it doesn't matter what we're doing, if it's not making a positive difference to somebody's life, why are we bothering? I'd like to thank you all for your attention.
Timor.
Thank you everyone.